Welcome to the March 19th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Please rise for the flag pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I have a few items to cover before we get started. Please sign in at the door if you have not already done so as you walked in there. There you will also find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure we will follow tonight. If you wish to take one, please do. Please put any electronic devices on silent mode at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Planning Commission are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners with one member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Service staff is here to assist the Planning Commission with its duties. The task of the Planning Commission is to hold the public hearing and make a recommendation to the County Board of Commissioners for approval or denial of requests for conditional and interim use permits, rezones, plats, and ordinance amendments in accordance with state law and county ordinance. The burden of approving a request meets the criteria for approval rests with the applicant. There is a protocol for how we will proceed tonight. For each request on the agenda, we will hear a staff report, hear testimony from the applicants, and then we will discuss and gather more information as needed. Next, I will ask if there are anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the request. I will ask each party to come to the podium over by the door to state their name and address for the record and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After all testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of the process. The Planning Commission will then review and discuss the case in terms of the findings of fact criteria as required by Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We will have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made. Then there will be a final motion to recommend approval or denial to the County Board of Commissioners. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. The County Board of Commissioners will then consider the request and our recommendation at their next regular meeting and will either grant or deny the request. Okay, so we have one agenda for the Planning Commission tonight, and that's Charles and Peggy Seelan, 38273 Highway 10, Motley, Minnesota. Application to rezone 2 parcels of land from rural residential to agriculture for an event venue and aquaculture located in point of government gov.lot 19 and 20, section 19, township 133, range 31, Motley Township. I guess at this time I'd ask the applicants to come up to the front tables here.
Are you here for this? Which agenda item are you here for?
For rezoning.
Okay, we're calling your item now. Are you Mrs. Seelan?
If you'd want to come up to the front here and then get seated and then pull the mic down and just state your name for the record, please.
Yeah, my husband will be right in. He's
Yep.
signing in. My name is Peggy Seelan.
Okay.
And Charles Seelan.
Charles Seelan.
You can just speak in the microphone so we can.
Charles Seelan.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, I'll ask Amy if she's ready with the staff report.
I am, Mr. Chair. This is an application to rezone 2 parcels from rural residential to agriculture for the purposes of establishing an aquaculture business and an event venue. This parcel is located in section 19 of Motley Township. The the section of the ordinance that is referenced here, section 508, and that requires a public hearing to change the official zoning map. Here is a plat map of Motley Township, and the red dot is the location of the property. And then here's the rezone request received from the applicant. And then an aerial photograph of the two parcels. And then some oblique imagery of the property as well. The applicant owns two parcels with frontage on US Highway 10, just south of the city of Motley on the Morrison County line. A man-made lake/pond exists on the north parcel, and the applicant lives on the south parcel. The northern parcel is accessed off County State Aid Highway 28, which is also known as 385th Street, and the south parcel is accessed off US Highway 10. So here's another image of that with the roads. The parcels are currently zoned rural residential. Surrounding parcels are zoned residential, rural residential, and shoreland. Uses consist of rural residences, forest, and crop fields. So on the map to the right, everything in blue has a residential zoning district. Everything in orange has a rural residential zoning district. And then anything in green has a shoreland designation. And then when you get up north into the city limits, then you get into the Motley City zoning districts. The applicant is requesting to rezone their parcels to agriculture, and they're proposing two uses for the property. First, an aquaculture business raising fish utilizing the man-made lake or pond. This use would require a conditional use permit. And then secondly, an event venue, and that would be utilizing the existing shed on the parcel, and that use would require an interim use permit. The details of the two proposed businesses will be addressed within the conditional use permit and interim use permit applications if those move forward. So here is a drawing of as far as where those activities would occur. Aquaculture on the right, and then the event venue on the far left. The purpose of the residential zoning district is to promote and protect areas which have low density, generally residential development, and are essentially rural in character. It is intended to allow traditional rural activities such as agriculture, forestry, home businesses, and occupations in manners that do not degrade the rural character of the area. The purpose of the agriculture zoning district is to promote and protect areas which have high-quality agricultural lands and are essentially rural in nature. Within this district, agricultural activities shall be given precedence over other land uses. The applicable comprehensive plan goals and objectives in the agriculture district is Goal A1, Goal A2, Objective 1, and then local economic development, Goal C1, Objective 1, 8, and Goal C2, Objectives 1, 2, and 19. 29 notices were sent regarding this request. 2 comments were received prior to the public hearing. I'll read those now. The first one is from the Motley Township Board Chairman, Verd Pepin. He says, this note is in response to the request from Charles and Peggy Seelan to rezone 2 parcels of land from rural residential to agriculture for an event venue and aquaculture. The Township Board recently met and went over Seelan's proposal to the board and voted 100% in favor of supporting their plan. The board feels it will be a valuable asset to the community and even provide some educational experiences for local school students. Again, we are in total support of their endeavor and want to see it continue. And then the other was from Bill and Fran Coquette. In that comment was, we are residents of Motley Township and are 100% for the petition of Charles and Peggy Seelan to rezone 2 parcels of their property from residential to agriculture to be used for event venues and aquaculture. Okay, and that concludes my staff report, Mr. Chair. And then here I just put up some amendment discussion questions to guide your discussion.
Okay, thank you, Amy. At this time, would the applicants have anything to add? I'm sure we'll have some questions for you maybe. But
No, not at this time.
okay. You guys have any questions for the applicant or staff at this time?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Marv.
a few questions. This is zone rural residential. So
Has it been in rural residential for many years, or can we tell when this got zoned rural residential?
To my knowledge, the zoning map, the countywide zoning map was last revamped in 1995. I can't speak directly to this area if anything changed or was different, but it's been this designation at least since 1995.
Okay, so over 30 years probably.
Yes.
Okay, that answers that. Bordering properties, all of them are, what you had mentioned earlier, were rural residential, rural. What is the closest ag property to this here?
So I'm gonna zoom in on this. So when we look at this map, anything that does not have any color, so if you look south here and south here, these have an agriculture zoning district. Because the stream runs through, portions of these parcels have a shoreland zoning district, but everything that does not have color here has an agriculture zoning district assigned to it. Here on this left, this is the Todd County line. So we do not have zoning information for this because that's a different county.
So according to that, it looks like to the north of that, looks like that's ag before that.
Yep, well, right here, this is ag, that doesn't have color. And then when we get here, now we're in Motley city limits.
Okay.
So then we're outside of county zoning.
Okay, thank you, that answers that one. The next thing I have a question for the applicant was, you talked about venue and use of a shed. What is, it seemed like that's kind of vague. What was your plan as a venue and doing there?
It would just be like gatherings for family reunions and weddings, small weddings and stuff. There wouldn't be any more than 100 people probably.
At which point they'd have to cater in as far as the liquor and the food. They'd have to have that catered. Figured that would bring some business to some of the local businesses too.
Do you have a plan for like porta potties, whatever, or because?
Yeah, we would be renting porta potties at that time.
Okay, that answers that. Thank you much. I've traveled up and down, 10 there frequently, so I've been past that property. I remember before them ponds were even put in there, and I know when I travel up and down it, and now I see geese frequently around it, and I thought I'd seen some cattle around there at one time. Was this pastured?
A number of years back, prior to us purchasing it, Daryl used to rent it out for farmland,
Okay.
cattle.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen that over there. So it does kind of fit in some of the agricultural pieces back then there too. Okay, thank you. I have no other questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, Marv. John, you have anything?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
do you have a permit from the DNR to do the aquaculture, or a license?
We actually are in the process of getting a license, and they have to come and inspect the pond and stuff. But they haven't notified us yet. We sent it in January, so we should hear from them soon, I hope.
Okay. And then I'm just curious, fish for feeding for?
Yes, we have, currently we did stock walleye, yellow perch, and sunfish, and we also did some fathead minnows for forage.
Okay. Mr. Chair, with 100% support on the city there and the one residence that wrote in and the number of objectives, I don't have a lot of questions.
Okay. Yeah, so basically we're looking at, it was nice to know kind of what your plans are for the property. That would come at a later date if we would decide to, between us and the county commissioners, to rezone this. So looking at rezoning this to ag, I guess you look at it, okay, so we say, is it spot zoning? Well, not really, because maybe that ag land in the middle is called spot zoning. I don't know. We got ag land in the middle. There's ag land all the way up to it. It's right on the fringe. If you look, what I could see, there was only in that rural residential to the east of you, there's three homes?
Oops.
you know, so it isn't like it's a heavily populated area. To the south, where that other pond is, you guys can see on the map that was a beef farm at one time, and now I know they got some of that tilled up. And I believe behind that, I know we don't know, we have no idea because that's Todd County what it's zoned as, but I know the land's used for ag. So when we look at that, it's on the fringe. I think it would tie in with the ag land. It ain't like we're just pulling something out of the middle and changing it back to ag. So I think it would fit to change it back to ag, even if, you know, okay, we'd change the zoning, okay, not just for what they want to do with it. Okay, so they're done with it. It's still gonna fit in the ag part, I believe, after they're gone, you know, because it kind of ties in with it, and that's what that property is, basically. So, and then the next owner comes in and they decide to develop it, well, we can only put so many houses on ag zoning. Well, then they'd have to come in and try and get it switched back, and if it got switched to ag and come back, I think it'd be a little harder to get it switched back again, so. Marv, you had something, I think? Yeah,
Mr. Chair. So Dave Stish, he was one of our members, that he was feeling under the weather, and he called me, he told me, he says, I'd like to give you my opinion over this here. He had no real strong opinion other than, he says he's a little concerned when Clint started talking about possibly spot zoning, and he said, is this kind of maybe a spot zone deal? And he wanted that pointed out, but he says, I have no strong feelings one way or another, but that was his only concern.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So that was my point. When you look in the middle of the map here on that the last four numbers, 3002, you know, that's zoned ag. That's right in the middle of everything. So if we're going to call something spot zoning, I would say that would be. But anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Not only looking at what they want to use it for, but if that land would be zoned ag, if it would stay in ag even after these current owners are gone. And I believe that does tie in with the surrounding land that touches it. So that's part of it. I don't know, Amy, you want to go back to the kind of the questions you had?
Absolutely. And then, Mr. Chair, we do, I don't know at what point you want to open it up to the public for comment, but I'll get back to those discussion questions for you. There you go.
So when we look through some of these, you know, just kind of some points that Amy wrote down for us, maybe to consider asking, you know, what, has there been a change in the development policy of the county? Not really. You know, you just look through some of these. Does the rezone conform to the comprehensive plan? I believe absolutely it does. You know, if we would change it to agriculture and look through the comprehensive plan for agriculture, I do think that it would line up with that. It is compatible with the surrounding land use. I don't believe it's spot zoning. So, utilities, it ain't such a big deal where this is at or whatever, but, so that's just kind of my thoughts on it in a discussion. I guess while we think just for a few minutes here, maybe I'll open it up if there's any public comment. We'd open it up to the public at this time. If anybody would like to speak on this matter, please go to the podium up there by the door. Is there any public comment? I got to ask 3 times, so any public comment? Hearing none, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. Okay, I don't know, you guys got any more discussion on this, or, I mean, it's not only us, but we, you know, get the information for the commissioners, but I don't know. This one you look at, it's, to me, I don't think it matters if it's rural residential or ag where it is, because there's both there. And I think that property could be ag, you know, so it ain't like, and it's kind of in the corner. It's not like it's in the middle of the rural residential. So, I don't know if you guys don't have any more discussion. We'll probably just move on to our vote.
Good to go, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So on this one here on our sheets, all we basically is if you're for it or against. Okay, so.
Yep, Mr. Chair, I just want to remind you that with zoning amendments, you can't place conditions.
Yep.
So it's just a straight up yes or no.
Yep. So I'll just be asking for a yes or a no. Okay, John?
Yes.
Okay, Marvin?
Yes.
And myself, Clint, is yes. Okay, so that's all three yeses. So can I have a motion to recommend approval?
So moved.
Okay, Marvin,
I'll second that.
and a second from John. All in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Clint, myself is aye. Okay, so we'll recommend rezone approval for this to the commissioners, and they will address this on March 26th, okay? So if you have any questions between now and March 26th, please contact Land Services, get a hold of Amy or her staff, and they can maybe help you with any questions with that, okay?
And that
Amy.
meeting is in the morning, so that's a morning meeting right here in the same area, and I'll bring that on your behalf. You absolutely can be there, or you can call the office, you know, late morning to find out the outcome. All right? Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
If they pass it, we'll have a lot more stuff for you later on.
Yeah.
Yes, because then you'd be
CUP and
coming
all.
back for both your other permitting.
Just the only the beginning.
Okay, so I guess we'll gotta approve our minutes from February 20th. Then I'd make a motion that we'd approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the February 20th, 24 Planning Commission minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Anybody have any new business? I don't have any.
No, I don't have any, Mr. Chair.
Okay, how about old business? Anybody? I don't have
I
any.
don't have any of that either.
Okay, I guess then I'd take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 6:24.